Let's go to Pauline Hanson now, the One Nation founder and leader. She joins us from Queensland. Thanks for joining us again, Pauline. I just want to go to this issue, actually, of dangerous ignorance. And first up, your colleague in the Senate, that is Fatima Payman, the former Labor senator from Western Australia, now an independent. And have a look at what she has said about her former home of Iran.
Incredible place that Iran is, allowing for women to participate in the workforce, to ensure that they have a voice and their voices are heard, they're involved in the democratic process, realities that we're not privy to living here and listening to the propaganda that we receive from very single-sided organisations with a specific agenda.
How could she be so ignorant, especially someone who came here as a refugee, Pauline, and just how dangerous are these views?
I think she is very ignorant in what she's actually saying here. She came out from Afghanistan, my understanding, Chris, because I questioned about her citizenship and whether she should be a member of parliament, which they just ignored, and no investigation into it at all. My understanding of Iran is that it came under this totalitarian Islamic regime in about 1979. Before then, it was basically more freedom, democracy, but since it's been taken over by this regime, it actually suppresses women. My understanding of it is not what Fatima Payman's saying. It was about in 2022 that one woman who didn't wear the hijab, which is just over, she uncovered her head. She was taken by the police. She was loaded into the back of the truck and she was beaten. And witnesses say that her injuries and reports from it were from the beating that she received from the police. You don't see tourists going there lining up to go to Iran. I can't imagine Western women wanting to go there or lie beside a pool with a bikini on. It just wouldn't happen. Women are suppressed, and when Fatima Payman talks on the floor of Parliament about domestic violence and how women are treated and all the rest of it, and yet she makes this statement about women in Iran, I'm sorry, domestic violence, women in Iran are controlled by the men. They cannot be accompanied unless there's a change, but my understanding was women cannot walk around by themselves without being covered up. They have to be accompanied by a male, usually, you know, if it's a child, the child has to be of teenage years, and they lose all control over the children once the children are actually 5 or 6. So it's all given control to the men, and they suppress the women, control the women. It is not democratic for women at all. So I don't know where she's getting this from.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is just, you're right, sorry to correct me, she was from Afghanistan. Her family came out here as refugees from Afghanistan. But what she's saying about Iran is just so wrong and so dangerous. Women are being arbitrarily arrested on the streets and thrown into prison if they're not wearing their hijab properly, and we've had them die in custody. It's just a shocking situation for women in Iran, and to pretend otherwise is deeply, deeply dangerous, and very disappointing to hear that coming from one of our senators. I want to go back to domestic politics, though, very quickly, Pauline, and this spender-thong we're seeing from Labor, and when it comes to Medicare at least, and some of the other issues so far, it's being matched by the coalition. We haven't got this money, we can't afford this, but in an election campaign, everybody's just throwing money out the door.
It's the same old rhetoric, Chris, isn't it? Before every election, throw money here, throw money there, buying votes and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, future generations and this generation is going to have to pay this back. $1 trillion in debt, that's what we are. And next year, expected we will be paying $50 billion a year just in interest alone. How many hospitals can we build for that? At least 10 hospitals. How many schools? It's just got to ridiculous. Medicare, Chris, we actually are defrauded of about $3 billion a year. I'd actually clean up the fraud. Then if you save yourself $3 billion a year, then you can actually reinvest it into giving people higher rebates through the Medicare levy. But don't actually then throw more money at it. Clean up the bloody mess that we're in at the moment. And you can't keep, you know, funding these things all the time, because where's the money coming from? Both governments need to pull their heads in, get the country back on track, get industry, manufacturing, jobs going, productivity, get the GDP, you know, in a position where we can pay for the things and we've got to pay down debt.